that there, come up there, just Cheesemonger.
Before we forget that music, I'm going to tell you about our first cheese pairing. What's happening in this aria, it comes from an opera called Zingarella, which is Gypsies at the Fair. So we have a gypsy. Her name is Lucrezia. She is at the fair. She is a fortune teller, and she's doing her hustle. She's giving her sales pitch, she's trying to get as many people as possible to get us to read their fortune. We don't know if she succeeds at the end, but I am hopeful that she does. This cheese, as Ray mentioned, is called burrata. It is relatively recent in the realm of artisan cheese. It was started in the early 20th century, but for sure, like by 1950, it had arrived. And it came to be because a mozzarella producer in the south of Italy, where this style of cheese is often made, was looking for a way to use up his leftover mozzarella bits during mozzarella production, just the little bits and pieces that are a result of it. So he wanted to reduce his food waste, and he came up with this idea of making mozzarella and making it into a little pouch, and then stuffing it with more mozzarella and cream. And here you go, you have burrata, which is buttery in Italian. Traditionally, it was served sold wrapped in a leaf, so that you could determine its freshness. Once the leaf was withered, that means the burrata is no longer fresh. But we don't need to do that now. Oftentimes it'll be soaked in whey, so that'll just kind of keep the balance of the cheese. The salt that you have on top, it is a saffron salt from Italy, the Abruzzo region, south of Italy. So a lot of, well, I have often wondered why we have saffron in Italy, because it's not native to Italy, but we have the Spanish Inquisition to thank for that. There was a Dominican monk by the name of Santucci, and he was invited to Spain to serve on a court during the Spanish Inquisition. And on his travels, he saw this crocus flower from which the little saffron stems come from, and thought they would do great growing in his native land. And so he brought some flowers back to Italy, and it turns out, Spanish climate and Italian climate are fairly similar, and so the flowers flourished. And saffron became very popular in the region, particularly among the wealthy classes, because saffron, as Kate Chase over there knows, you can ask her about saffron, it's a very labor-intensive food. It needs to be hand-plucked from these little flowers. So only wealthy people can afford it. So with regards to our pairing, Lucrezia, she's on the hunt for customers. And I thought that these little pouches of Dorada did a wonderful job representing the pouches of her potential clients that she was eyeing them to buy. And the saffron salt serves multiple functions. One, because it's a little bit exotic to Italy, I thought it represented the exoticism and mysticism that she would bring to her customers, that's one thing, but also it represents the gold and the golden color of her customers. And also because of its sort of status reserved amongst the elite classes, it was an indication of her desired customer base. We have the very first pairing. All of our cheeses are paired this way with the music. Let's see. I started writing about cheese and working in cheese over 10 years ago now. I never ever thought that this would come to anything like this. Same with singing. I always thought I would just sing in shows, but here we are. And it's a wonderful thing. Cheese has led me on a wonderful journey. I have met so many creative, quirky, passionate, intelligent, driven people around the world. From tasting cheese in Vietnam to tasting the most expensive cheese in the world in Serbia, and everything in between with these people actually. And everything in between. Cheese is a living, beautiful, complicated subject. So when it came to pairing cheese with the music, there are two elements at play, obviously here. First is the grounding element of the cheese. Cheeses of the earth. When we taste a piece of artisan cheese, this is more than sustenance. This represents a philosophy of the cheesemaker, the anthropology of the region. It represents all the elements in the land that go into making this cheese. We're talking about the climate, the terroir, so flora, fauna, local animals, animals chosen to give the milk, in addition to recipes and eating conditions, etc. There's a lot that goes into the cheese, and again, it's such a sensual experience. These almost like senses, minus sound, which is where the music comes in. The music generally has been around as long as people have been around. Opera has existed since the 16th century, something like that. But, when we listen to a piece of music or opera, what we're looking for usually is some kind of heightened emotional state. We want to be moved. We want something fabulous. We want to give voice to something that we feel inside that only the human voice can give. And that's the magic of it. And the magic of live performance is that once that moment is gone, you can't recreate it ever again. So when it came to pairing these two items with Ray's help, I found that the grounding element of the cheese kind of helped ground the emotions that we may experience when we're listening to music, and conversely, the music sort of elevated the experience of eating the cheese into like some sort of mystical tasting experience, which, I mean, I feel I would be very curious to know how you feel about it. And so the two meet on a sort of intermediate plane, which allows for so much freedom of association. I've chosen some cheeses here. Maybe you have found some, maybe you'll find something different that suits what you're feeling when you hear a piece of music with a cheese. So again, that kind of demands or asks that you not eat all the cheese all at once, but, but you know, you can do as you feel. So there you have it, the sort of philosophy behind this cheese make or cheese pairing. With that, oh yes, I wanted to give you a little primer on how to taste your cheese. It's essentially all about using all of your senses mindfully. We eat first with our eyes. So take a look at your cheese, take a look at all of the cheeses on your plate and notice how different they all are. You know, once you've kind of categorized the cheeses by sight, you can give them a little sniff, maybe sniff them before you eat them. And then when you've popped it into your mouth, I like to chew it a little bit, but leave it on your tongue. This allows the cheese to break down, allows the saliva to break down the cheese. So this is the key step here. When it's in your mouth and you kind of chewed it up and left it on your tongue, breathe in through your nose, and then breathe out through your nose again with the cheese still in your mouth. This will allow all the aromatics of that cheese to pass out through your nasal passages, out through your nose, and will allow you to smell the cheese a second time. Our tongues, they taste salty, sweet, bitter, sour, and umami, but our noses get all of the other flavors. So some cheeses that you taste today are going to have a note like creme brulee or toffee, pineapple, orange. There's one that has a soap kind of note to it. Toasted hazelnut, etc. I'm just naming them because I'm curious to see if you can identify them as we go along. So use your noses, breathe in and out through your nose. Once that step is done, you can actually use the sense of touch, the tongue, to get a sense of the mouthfeel of the cheese. Some cheeses have a fudgy texture, some have a sort of slippery texture, some are spongy, some are flinty, some are granular. Take note, partially because this helps you choose a cheese that you're going to like, or helps you identify cheeses that you like. And my hope is that you'll get to keep on tasting lots and lots of more cheese after this. And then lastly, after you've swallowed your cheese, at some point you can swallow your cheese, and then you can get a sense of an amount of lingering aftertaste. Some cheeses have a lingering aftertaste that's different from the taste when it's in your mouth, and some don't. So, just experience the whole cheese, front to finish, and then that's really all there is to it. With that, okay, are you ready for our next one? Ready for the next one? Okay, we are going to the world of Greek mythology for our next aria, and the story of Orfeo and Euridice in particular. Orfeo is a wonderful musician. His singing and his playing is so beautiful, he moves the gods to tears. This comes into play after he weds his beloved Euridice, and on their wedding day, she's bitten by a snake and dies. Orfeo sings a lament, and the gods are so moved by his story. Amore descends from the heavens and allows him to descend into the underworld to fetch his wife and return her to the upper world on the condition that he not look at her while he's in the underworld. This fails, he does look at her, and she disappears into smoke again. And he sings another lament, and this is the lament that I'll be singing for you today. In the myth, the story ends there, she doesn't come back. In the opera, written by Gluck, he needed a happy ending, and so he allows the gods to be moved again and calls Amore Amore is so moved, he returns Euridice to Orfeo. So, opera has a happy ending at least. The cheese that I've chosen is called Bouche. It is from Vermont Creamery, obviously in Vermont. They are one of the first artisan cheese makers in the U.S., founded in 1984 by Alison Butler and Bob Reese. They're one of my favorite goat cheese producers in the U.S. as well. So almost all of their cheeses are goat or goat blend, and they all have this sort of, or many of them have this sort of like wrinkly rind on the outside, which are the result of the molds used in the aging. It also has a layer of ash along the rind. This helps speed up the aging process, but also is really beautiful to look at. This particular batch, for whatever reason, is a little light on ash, but they're usually a lot darker. So just, there's ash there, and it's usually more. So I chose this cheese for this pairing because I wanted a visual representation of that veil between life and death. Particularly, our characters are constantly moving between the upper world and the underworld, and I thought that black line represented that veil beautifully. And the paste, which is the inside of the cheese. I've noticed some pastes are a little more runny than others, but generally you get a wet clay sort of texture with this cheese, and I chose that to represent the earth that Orfeo has to move through to descend into the underworld. The other note that's really interesting about cheese generally, and this cheese in particular, well, I wanted a young cheese because I wanted a cheese where you could see its timeline, its life cycle in a fairly easy way. You actually have a couple of different ages of cheeses here, it looks like. So you can kind of take a look at your neighbor's plate and see where their cheese is at in terms of the aging process. But cheese occupies a very particular place in the food world because the milk that is used to make cheese is fresh. It's fresh at the time of the make, but that milk is inoculated with cultures and molds, and then it's set to spoil in a very controlled way. So we have essentially spoiled milk, but obviously very delicious and not all bad. On that light and death spectrum, I wanted just to point out that cheese is sort of moving between worlds, just as Orfeo and Euridice move between worlds. And so, finally, with that, let us descend into the underworld with Orfeo. Like me. All right, everybody take a moment to refill your glass, refill your plate, and say hello to somebody you do not know. And going into ancient Macedonia. Yes, ancient Macedonia. And this opera is named Piro e Demetrio. It is by Alessandro Scarlatti. We almost never see this opera performed, so I could find like 3 sentences about it. It's about 2 kings, Piro and Demetrio, and they're in conflict. Luckily, that has nothing to do with the aria that I'm singing today. Tonight's aria features a young man named Mario, and he is in love. He's in love with a woman that he probably shouldn't be, technically, because she's a noble woman, and he's not noble. So, a little bit of social clash going on here. So he's out on a walk. He spies these violets growing on the path, and he's singing to the violets about how his love might be a little bit too ambitious, and he feels the violets are mocking him. I know he said. So that's the aria. We don't know how it resolves. And I couldn't find anything more about the opera, so I don't know how the actual situation is about that. So this cheese that I've paired with is called Madame Louis. It comes from Brittany, France. I know there are at least 2 people from Brittany in this room. Yes, so it's made by Paisiello, which is a collective of 3,500 farmers who have pooled their resources to make cheese like this fresh cheese, as well as butter and crepes, the other 2 products for which Brittany is very famous. So this cheese, while it's fresh, it's certainly not flavorless, and that's because it is cultured with buttermilk, which gives it an extra savory note. And so, with the cheese, because cheese alone sometimes, needs a little kick, this is paired with a raspberry and violet jam, which is locally made by Zingarella, a woman who is also from Brittany, but has settled in San Francisco and is making these jams. And then it's topped with little violets from Germany. So the pairing, we don't know anything about this woman that Mario's in love with. We don't know anything about her identity, nothing. So I'm giving her an identity. Her name is Madame Louis, and she's fluffy and whipped. She has a very gentle disposition, very pleasant, she's a little bit grounded as well because of that savory note. But all around, very mild-mannered, I imagine, and proper. So that's Madame Louis. And the violets, dried violets on top, are obviously the violets to which Mario is speaking. And then this jam, this raspberry jam, I love raspberries because they always seem to grow at the border of what's cultivated and what's wild. And so I imagine that Mario is kind of struggling with these feelings of love, moving between what is acceptable and cultivated and what's wild and forbidden and very alluring. And so, with that, let us join Mario on his walk. We're going to change moods completely now, and eras, and locations. We moved to ancient Rome, about 60 AD, during the reign of the Emperor Nero, the Nero who was supposed to have fiddled while Rome burned, and the Nero who killed his mother. This opera is written by Monteverdi, one of the earliest opera composers, and it's kind of unusual that this opera is still regularly performed today. In this story, Nero is married to Ottavia, the Empress Ottavia, and he's in love with another woman. Her name is Poppaea, and so he's trying to figure out how to get rid of Ottavia to make room for this new woman. Ottavia senses that her position at court or in society is threatened, and she tries to have Poppaea assassinated. this plot fails, and so Ottavia is exiled from Rome. And this aria that happens at the very end of the opera, just before Hilaro marries Popea. You're going to notice musically it's really quite different from the other pieces I'm singing tonight. This is, because it's so early, I feel like this is the most, like, it goes to the heart of what I feel opera really is, which is heightened speech. And the emphasis is really on the text as opposed to a melody. There's no meter, there's no time, it's very free. And so this cheese, well, it's not a cheese, but I would explain. This is the thing I think Ray, Cheese Plus Ray, is the most excited about. He called me when he was making it up for the first time. He's like, "Hey, bro, I gotta taste what I just made." it was really lovely. So what it is his take on the classic Roman dish cacio e pepe, which is. It's so simple. It's just pasta water, grated pecorino romano, and pepper. So this cheese. Yeah. Or you want to do the impression? Wait. I'm going to tell one story, and then you can tell another story. Okay. I'm going to tell them. Okay. So the wonderful thing about pecorino romano. I know a lot of you are like, I know this cheese. I know you know this cheese, but you know. It is 2,000 years old. If you don't know this cheese, then I don't know where you've been. This cheese is 2,000 years old. It existed during the time of Emperor Nero, which is incredible. And it was made traditionally just outside of Rome in 50-pound drums. And because it's so dry and salty, it never spoiled, it never went bad. And so it was given as daily rations to Roman legionnaires during the Roman Empire, which is quite incredible. And the fact that we are eating this cheese today and has barely changed recipes is a testament to the power of this cheese and how perfect that recipe is. So I love pecorino romano. It can adorn any dish beautifully. And so this dish, cacio e pepe, I'll give a little story and I'll let Ray tell another story. Cacio e pepe is one of 4 classic Roman dishes. It was created by farmers who were out in the fields working, and they just needed something easy to eat. So they could just bring out some dry pasta, some of this cheese which never spoils, and some pepper, cook it all up together, and here you go. You have this wonderful, nourishing dish. So let's see, the peppercorns that we have included are really special. Ray found us 2 types of peppercorns that are on the outside of this little butter round. The butter is Irish butter. The cheese, obviously, pecorino romano, with a hint of Parmigiano Reggiano to round up the flavors. And then this pepper is Sarawak pepper from Malaysia and Cruda pepper berries from Indonesia. And those peppers give the butter a really beautiful, like, incense, tobacco, flour, fruit flavor. It's really, it's so good, so good. Okay, that's all I have to say about the cheese. Maybe Ray wants to add something in.
Well, just how fun it is to work with her. I was literally sitting down the street after Doctor's appointment in my car and talked for an hour, and she's like, "We need to do this again because we did it last year." And the cacio e pepe butter was one of the first ideas that we came up with as we were trying to make our own. The only thing I can tell you about it was a lot of fun making it. I hope you guys enjoy it. There's a lot of talk about this one particular item before we go into it. But as she said, we're using the Cruda peppers and Sarawak. And the reason why is because one of my favorite places in Rome is called Roscioli. You guys been to Roscioli near the Campo di Fiore? You guys know it a little bit, right? So it's a great little kind of a delicatessen with a restaurant, and it was in their cookbook. Their cookbook's really cool, and their chef won an award for the best carbonara, which they said was one of the kind of 4 main pasta dishes. So We couldn't make pasta for you tonight, although we would love to, intimidating as that is. So anyway, I don't know how to say it, I'm just here to help her. Thank you. All right,
So now for the pairing, as I mentioned before, Octavia is exiled from Rome, her homeland. I wanted to very strongly evoke what it means to be Roman, as this dish catcher Becky is, as this cheese is. I wanted us to think about what it means to be home, generally, wherever your home is. So often, what we imagine as home, or what we know to be home, is tied to our food memories. And so often, our feeling of home is tied to the people with whom we share that food. So, consider your home, consider Octavia's home, and consider what it is that she's leaving. She's spent her life building her power, learning the ecosystem in which she lives, and now she's torn away from it. So as she sings her farewell, I have a lot of feelings about what she's saying goodbye to. So let us say goodbye to Rome with Octavia.
Oh my God, she changed it.
Welcome back. Are you guys doing okay? Having a good time?
Great.
Great, I'm so happy. Well, I wanted to take a moment to recognize a few people without whom this recital could not happen at all. Please, I invite you to fill your glass at this moment and raise it in honor of Dwight Okamura. And the other person I could not do this without, of course, is Ray Bear over there. Please. Our Cheesemonger Sings and Gluck. Well, I'm not just okay. Are we ready for our next pairing? Yeah. We want to maybe my favorite opera, and certainly one of my favorite characters. It's called The Marriage of Figaro. And the character is Carabino. Carabino is a young page boy in the castle of Count Almaviva and his wife, the Countess. Carabino is also going through a thing known as puberty, so he has a lot of feelings right now. He's in love with the Countess, or infatuated with her, and he has expressed this sentiment to the Countess's lady Susanna. So one day he finds himself called to the Countess's bedroom. Susanna's there though, as well as the Countess, and Susanna convinces him to sing the song that was written for the Countess. And actually, it's not in this particular opera, but he does manage to seduce her. She allows herself to be persuaded by him. And yes, they actually have a baby. The cheese that I've chosen is Voi Che Sapete, another French cheese, this time from the Pyrenees region of France, the southwest, which is along the border with Spain, from the Basque region. The Basque is sort of subculture within France. Within this region, there are a lot of sheep, and there are a lot of sheep cheeses, so here we have sheep's neck cheese. And we also have something, Piment d'Espelette. This is a little capsicum, it's like this big. It comes from Central and South America and was introduced to France in the 16th century. It made its way down to this Basque region where they use it in the place of black pepper. So it's very, very mild, a little sweet, just a tiny bit spicy. And this cheese also has some very distinct phases of flavor. It starts off with that piment d'Espelette, so it's a little bit sweet, and you're going to sense a little bit of toasty, woodsy, the woodsy, branch, brambly sort of flavor, and then it evolves into a sweetgrass note, and then it finishes on a toasted hazelnut note. It's amazingly complex. It's also a very young cheese. It's only aged for 3 months. And so the pairing, they go together because I thought that this cheese really represented Carabino quite well. His newfound passion is represented by the Piment d'Espelette because it's there, but it's not really developed yet. It's pretty raw. He sings in this song about how his moods are changing all the time. He feels like fire and then ice and fire again, and he doesn't know what to do about anything. I thought that was really well represented by the changing flavors of the cheese as they change phases. And then both of them are young, and despite everything, they're both rather pleasant in the end. And so this is actually one of Ray's favorite cheeses as well. So with that, let us join Carabino in the Countess's bedroom. I guess we lost a light paling or something like that. That was not correct. We're going to switch gears again completely and go back to ancient Rome. This time, during the time of Julius Caesar, Giulio Cesare, the opera by Handel. So this opera begins with Caesar pursuing his rival Pompeo in Egypt, and Pompeo's wife, Cornelia, is there with Caesar. She is begging for his mercy so that he hopefully won't kill her husband. Caesar is on the verge of agreeing to her request when somebody walks in carrying Pompeo's head. Whoops. As it turns out, Ptolemy, the king of Egypt, has murdered Pompeo as a show of support for Caesar. Cornelia is devastated. Cornelia's son, Sesto, as well, vows for revenge. And Caesar is disgusted by Ptolemy's cruelty. So the main arc of the opera is about the conflict between Ptolemy and Caesar, good against bad. But this aria focuses on Sesto. At one point early on in the opera, there is an opportunity to potentially assassinate Ptolemy. Cornelia, Pompeo's wife, says that she's ready to do this. But Sesto, he stops his mother and he says, I will take this task on. And so he does. He kills Ptolemy, kills the opera. It's very sad. It's actually quite good. And so this aria is the first moment where we see this glimmer of hope shine in Sesto's eyes. He spends so much of his time just angry and sad for revenge. So here we see a glimmer of hope. And so this cheese is a cheese many of us know again. It's Parmigiano Reggiano. But as I learned in the world of cheese, there's Parmigiano Reggiano and then there's this Parmigiano Reggiano. This is definitely of the second type. It is made by a cheese maker called Valserena. They are the oldest Parmigiano Reggiano dairy in the Parma region of Italy, 5 generations dating to the 17th century. It's family owned, as I said. There's a brother and sister who run it now. The brother is actually a veterinarian and can name all of the cows by name. Valserena is also special because it is a farmstead creamery. So the cows are raised on the same property where the cheese is made. So everything is on a closed system, which is very rare, especially in a cheese as widespread as Parmigiano Reggiano. The other special thing about this cheese is that it's made with milk from a heritage breed of cow. It's called the brown cow. It comes from Switzerland. There are about 300 Parmigiano Reggiano makers in Italy, and only 4 of them make cheese with milk from the brown cow. That's because while brown cow milk is much richer than a lot of other modern breeds, they make less of it, so it's smaller production. There's a trade-off to be had between quality and quantity. In terms of tasting notes, this particular Parmigiano Reggiano, it has a lot of creme brulee and toffee notes up front, which is super, super special. And then it finishes with a tropical fruit note, which is pineapple and orange. You can see whatever else you taste in there. So the Parmigiano Reggiano does not come alone. You should have a little cup of 6-year-old balsamic vinegar. Balsamic vinegar comes from Modena, next to where this cheese is made. It's made from Lambrusco and Trebbiano grapes that have been cooked down but also been left to age in barrels, just like wine. So this vinegar is aged 6 years. You're going to get a lot of concentrated grape sweet flavors. and then at the finish, it's sort of champagne bubble finish. It's really quite magical. I invite you to taste each element separately before you put them together, because each together, separately they're wonderful, and then together they're like a whole other flavor entirely. So please taste them. And so the pairing, Parmigiano is known as the king of cheeses. And for an epic battle like this between Caesar and Ptolemy, I could only have the king of cheeses represent, and not just that, this king of cheeses represents the king, and that would be Ptolemy. The vinegar I have chosen to represent Ptolemy's blood when he eventually gets assassinated, because I love this. I love this. I'm so excited. Because you, my friends, are charged with being Sesto. You take on the role of Sesto. It is your task to assassinate Ptolemy however you feel fit. I mean, I was thinking that you could cut off his head, you could cut off his little fingers, you do all sorts of things. This is your moment, Sesto. And so, with that, I don't think I have too much to say. Let us all contemplate assassinating Ptolemy together. Okay. Yeah. 18 years to sing that aria, and it just happened. Wow! Okay, now's the time where I invite you to fill your glasses again, because our next aria is a drinking song. Take a moment, please. All right, so we moved from Julius Caesar to Lucrezia Borgia, the Borgia family, one of the most infamous families in all of Renaissance Italy. And we focus particularly on a group of young men, including two in particular, Gennaro and his best friend Orsini. One night, while this group is out carousing out on the town, they come across the gilded coat of arms of the Borgia family. And Gennaro thinks it'll be a great prank to remove the V from Borgia to make Borgia, which sounds a lot like what you think it sounds. Because it does, it is that. Lucrezia is furious at this, and she demands that whoever's in charge of this prank be executed. Gennaro is brought in, and she backtracks. She says, nope, not this one. She actually asks Gennaro to get out of town, but she's like, actually, okay, he can leave, but I'm still going to kill all of the others in charge of this prank. So she invites this group of friends to a party where she has poisoned all of the wine. I haven't poisoned your wine, but she poisoned it. And so, Orsini, Gennaro's best friend, leads everybody on this drinking song where he says the key to happiness is just enjoy the moment and don't think about the future, which is very appropriate because he has no future. That's right. Just live in the moment. In the end, as you can imagine, Orsini and his friends die. Gennaro shows up. He drinks the wine. He's dying. And then Lucrezia is like, wait, here's the antidote. I'm your mother. And he says, no, I prefer dying with my friends. I feel like it's a very teenager sort of. So, the cheese that I have chosen is a style of Italian cheese known as ubriaco. It's drunken cheese. It's cheese that has been soaked in wine. The story about the creation of this style of cheese goes back to 1917. We were during World War I. And small Italian villages had to host Italian troops moving through the village. They were obligated to nourish and house, care for these troops. And so apparently one enterprising villager decided that he wanted this cheese for himself, or at least for the village, and not for the troops. And so he hid this cheese in the vat of grape must, as it was just harvest time. After about 2 or 3 weeks, cheese was recovered as the troops had passed, and as it turns out, it tasted delicious. And so now we have a whole new style of cheese. This particular cheese, Blue 61, is made by a cheesemaker named Antonio Carbonego of the Caseria Carbonego. Antonio created this cheese in 2011 to honor the 50th anniversary of his engagement to his wife, Jessica. So it's a very romantic cheese, a future reference for future Valentine's Days. As I said before, it is washed in wine. It was washed in a wine, dessert wine called Raboso Tacito, which is a wine made with grapes that have been left to condense and shrivel, kind of turn into raisins over a couple of months before then being turned into a sweet dessert wine. And you'll definitely taste the wine all throughout. It's also topped with, I think these are wine-soaked cranberries. So, yes, obviously we mentioned. So, the pairing, for this pairing, okay, I'm clearly not interested in the romantic part for this pairing, but I was very interested in finding a cheese that evokes the lavish, hedonistic parties of the Borgia family, and so I wanted to find a luscious cheese that just coated your palate. So you'll notice this texture of this cheese is extremely fudgy. Just like, it feels like brocade or velvet on your tongue, just like good. And then the flavors are, they're extremely rich and kind of like throw it back on your palate. You're gonna get a lot of dark cherry, vanilla, licorice, and then the cranberries offer a little bit of sweetness. So again, just to give us a festive, sumptuous feel to this drinking song taking place in the palace. So with that, let's party like it's the last day of our lives with Veronique. Time passes so quickly. quickly, and we're having fun. And we're into our last song already. All right, well, I'm very pleased to finish this recital with one of the most badass women in all of opera. Her name is Isabella. She is from The Italian Girl in Algiers by Rossini, whose birthday is today. It is Rossini's birthday today, so we can definitely toast to Rossini. Thank you, Rossini. In this scenario, Isabella is on a ship from Italy to Algiers in search of her beloved Lindoro, who has come into the service of an Algerian bay. It's pretty politically incorrect, but there's like a harem and all that stuff involved. Anyway, Isabella, she is shipwrecked during her voyage and finds herself about to be captured by a bunch of corsairs. And at first she despairs, but then she realizes that she has exactly the skills she needs to get out of this situation and any other sticky situation that may come her way. And so in the end, she does just that. She outwits everybody, she gets Lindoro, she saves the day, and all is well. So this last pairing is not a cheese pairing, as you can probably tell. It is the chocolate that is in the center of your plate. I got a lot of requests last year asking for chocolate or something sweet to finish the recital. So here we go. We have chocolate. It is made by Dick Taylor up in Eureka, so the north part of the state. 73% Brazilian and Madagascar cacao with Guatemalan sea salt. You're going to get a lot of leather notes in the front, and then it finishes with a really nice blueberry and blackberry finish. Really, really nice. And so for this pairing, I wanted something nautical themed to go with Isabella's ship ride. And as it turns out, the founders of Dick Taylor Chocolate, Adam Dick and Dustin Taylor, they were both shipbuilders in their previous career. So after more than a decade of shipbuilding, they decided to shift to chocolate. And all of their packaging has some sort of nautical image. This one, the bar has a an engraving of a ship named the SS Northerner, which is shipwrecked off the coast of Humboldt County, which I thought was fitting for Isabella's ship, which is shipwrecked off the coast of Algiers. And I think everything is broken up, so the chocolate itself represented a shipwreck. So, I know you things. I'm smart for that. I did want to dedicate this song to another one of the most badass women in opera, who is also about to embark on a boat. That'll be Erin. She is moving, so please wish her well, as I wish her well. Thank you.
That's what anyone could ever have.
We're like stuck for it. Okay, and then, okay, so with that, I wanted to also thank, once again, please thank Dwight. Thank you all so much for being here today. You are absolutely making my dreams come true by being here tonight. We have the room for quite a while, so if you would like to stay and help us finish our wine, because I want no leftovers this year. Last year we had too many leftovers, no leftovers. You are invited to stay, and Ray's there to talk a lot about things, and I'll be here to talk too. So thank you so much for being here.
Questo è il
Okay, I did prepare one more. Right, there's no cheese with this one though, it's just music. Thank you so much for being here. Please hang out afterwards.